Welcome to another triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome to another triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel, where we chat about everything going on in triathlon, have a little bit of fun with it, and don't take ourselves too seriously. As always, I am joined by my co-hosts Josh and Fede, and we're going to jump in and tell you a little bit about what's going on in our training and racing at a slightly slower pace than some of the pros there. So we'll start off with Fede. How are you doing? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, hey guys, a couple of weeks off from the pod and a lot of FOMO listening to the last two episodes. You guys seem to be doing a great job without me, so that's all good.
No, we missed you today. It's not quite the same.
Yeah, miss you too, guys. Nothing much. I came back from Cozumel, took a little break. It was good to get a little bit of open water swimming, a bit of relaxing time, downtime, a bit of sun. So yeah, nothing much. I'm jogging, walking, so that's good.
Awesome.
No pain. So I'm starting to think about entering a running race, maybe like a 5K or something, to see how the legs feel. Obviously not pushing it, just want to see how the body responds. But yeah, things are looking bright. Now I'm going to be able to push a little bit on the bike, so that's good. Probably a lot of VO2 type of thing to kickstart the engine again. So I think it's going to be a next couple of very intense and annoying weeks in terms of how I feel. But yeah, excited and can't wait to go back. Having a lot of FOMO following Texas and now St. George. I just can't wait to get back on the training horse and back racing. But yeah, I'm in a happy place mentally, so all good. What about you guys?
I think the hardest part for you is going to be keeping yourself back to sticking to the plan and holding back until that race you've already got targeted. And be like, you're already talking about hopping in 5K. So
yeah. You know me too well, Josh. I was like, oh, I think this jog walk might translate into a solid 5K soon. But we'll see.
Few nasty texts from your coach. I'm sure you'll have them and get you straight
There
again.
we go.
Yeah. He listens to the podcast, so he's going to be like, I heard what you were talking about doing, and we'll see. We'll see in the next couple of days what happens.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How about you, Josh? What's going on in your world these days?
Just keep building. And this was a really good week in terms of handling some additional volume and a lot more race pace running, and actually did some track works and 4x400s and really pushing the pace and changing paces and changing heart rates and just really simulating a lot of different things and at the same time building volume. So probably have one more week of some volume here until we start to kind of build down into the race June 9th. I've got a couple races like Fede. I've got a short sprint try on May 19th, and then I have a half marathon shakeout run on June 2nd, and then my big race June 9th. So it'll be my first 70.3 not named at Oceanside. So
Hey, there we go.
see how that goes. Very, very similar bike profile. But I did do the bike last year on the relay team, so I'm familiar with it. They did change it a little bit. And it is my best time bike-wise. So we'll see if we can match that while doing the swim and the run this year. The swim is downriver. I think it was like the fourth fastest swim in 70.3 last year. Whereas like Maine and Oregon were way out in front, and then this one was just over an average of like 34, 35 minutes, something like that, which is not bad compared to Oceanside, which is like closer to 45, 50 minute average. So looking forward to that swim and been putting in the work. Just did another 2,100 yards tonight. And for me, 2,000, 2,100 yards, that's a good night, and becomes my anaerobic workout and getting better. The form is getting a little bit better and starting to work on certain things and a lot of drill work. So along the way, dealing with the puppy training, and he's been awesome. Jenna got to meet him last week. Sorry, Fed.
No, it's all good.
So it's life is good, and just busy with work, busy with training, and busy with puppy training.
Mm-hmm. Cruising along.
How about you, Jenna? How did the week coming out of your not so good / great race go?
Well, the good thing about not running that fast was I was able to smash a solid week with some decent volume and intensity there. So when you don't run too fast, your legs aren't too beat up. So was able to actually replicate a lot of the paces I was looking to do in the race a couple days later. So when you can breathe and aren't dealing with allergies, turns out running is a lot easier. Just slightly. Had a decent weekend there and just kind of clicking along. I did, if anyone saw, I unveiled my new bike this year. I'll be racing on an Argon 18E119 Disc Plus, which is also the Mana team sponsor. So check that out. But I've had my first couple rides on it on the trainer because it snowed last week and then it was decent for a bit and now it's pouring rain. So not quite outdoor weather yet, but the rest of the week here, it might warm up a little bit, so I might be able to get outside this weekend, which I'm super stoked about, but kind of getting that fit dialed in with the new bike on the trainer in the meantime. And it always feels like I got my bike set up pretty similar to my last one, but it always just feels a little different. Had to make some adjustments to my first run off of my first ride with this bike. I was definitely set up so I was using more of my quads than my glutes. So got off the bike, tried to run, and it was just my legs were absolute bricks. Like exactly what you think about when you think of a brick workout. I'm like, oh, this is not good. Yeah. Turns out raising the seat about 2 millimeters makes a massive difference in my muscle recruitment. And the next day had a long run off the bike and just being able to use glutes more, posterior chain more. It was a night and day difference. So that being said, get a bike fit. If running feels horrible off the bike, get a bike fit. Sometimes it's just teeny little tweaks and it can feel 100 times better running off the bike.
So
bike fit and fueling.
Bike fit and fueling. Yeah.
Fueling is another big one. Yeah. Definitely carbs in that one though.
Wanted to ask you, Jenna. We don't need to name bike brands or anything, but compared to your last bike in terms of comfort, and I don't know if you've done any aero testing yet. What do you reckon is the difference? Is it like big noticeable difference, or is it like marginal or fairly similar? I know you have to adjust to the position and everything, but what are your first impressions when it comes to your old bike and this one?
Yeah, I'll be curious. Really, I feel like I can't get too much of a sense until I get it outside.
Right.
On the trainer, the fit is pretty similar. I used my fast TT bars from my old bike and swapped them to my new one. And it's the same length and everything. So on the trainer, it doesn't feel too different. I need to drill a few holes to make my TT bars a little closer. But yeah, until I get outside, I don't think I'll be able to tell too much of a difference. So I'm excited to get out there and do some aero testing on it to see if there is a massive difference either way.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. My favorite thing with this bike so far, though, is there's a whole toolkit fitted into the frame. Like, it is so sweet. You like open up a little tab on the frame by the bottom bracket, and it has like spare tubes and the CO2 adapter thing and tire levers and all that just slides right into the frame. So that I got pretty excited about.
Pretty convenient for sure. I was mentioning the nutrition thing, I actually tabulated my nutrition on my long brick on Saturday. So I had a 3.5 hour, 3 hour ride, 3 hour ride with a 35-minute run off. And the 3 hour ride was an hour 45 at race pace. So pretty good clip there. And I was able, and I keep trying to take in more and more just to see what the limit is and being able to run off of it. And I think I took in about 450 grams of carbs and over 5,000 milligrams of sodium throughout the mostly on the bike and then a little bit on the run. Took in some of that as well. And it was 30 minutes at race pace on the run too, with a little bit of progression. So no issues there. So for me, it's like, might as well keep seeing what I can add to it and keep that energy level up and how fast can I go and how long can I go with it. But that was a good little test. And the next test will be in my new tri-suit. So we'll, if you haven't seen it yet, it was revealed this week. Speaking of reveals, I got my custom mono apparel kit and it looks awesome and can't wait to race in it.
It does look awesome.
Very sharp. Definitely impressed there. Wicked. Well, like I said, we're going to do a little bit of chatting about those who go slightly faster than the three of us here, just by a little bit. But I hear there was some racing this weekend. Fede, why don't you tell us about it? What happened this weekend?
Yeah, so there was a bit of racing this weekend. Let's start off with 70.3 St. George in Utah, which is a fan favorite. I love this course. It's hard, it's honest. It keeps you always grinding, and there's no easy parts on this run course. Not even the downhills, because the quads are usually hammered by the time you start running downhill. But let's start with the pro man in St. George, and we're starting to see the dad strength of Sam Long coming to fruition. He was amazing, like 7 minutes and 35 seconds faster than the guy in second place. I mean, 1:59:57 on the bike, 26-minute swim, and then a 1:10:46 half marathon on that particular run course. Just impressive. And he looked like he could have run another 3-4 miles. Like, he just looked super strong. Second place from New Zealand, Ben Hamilton. This guy was an age grouper just last year. And he had an awesome race in Ironman New Zealand and took his Kona slot. So I'm very happy to see every time an age grouper makes a transition to pro and is doing well. So I think he's holding the torch high for all of us age groupers that want to achieve big things in the sport. So kudos to Ben Hamilton. On third place, we had from France, Anthony Costes, and former winner Jackson Laundry in fourth place. He didn't have the bike legs that he usually has, and that cost him on the run. He is usually a guy who swims very quick, and he was just like 30-40 seconds faster than Sam Long. So this goes to show how impressive Sam has been working on his swim. And of course, a friend of the show, Mark Dubrick, in 8th place, running a 1:19. He was, I mean, a 1:19 is a very fast run, but in terms of Mark, this wasn't his the best of days for Mark. And again, the level of competition with a 1:19, you are in 8th place. So there's no slow guys over here. And on the girls' side, we had another win by Paula Findlay, dominating from the swim, and then pulling away from each other on the bike, and then having a very solid run. The usual Paula Findlay that we know. Second place, Ellie Salthouse from Australia, and on third place, Jackie Herring from the US. This was a closer race than the men's, just 2 minutes and 28 seconds from Ellie to Paula, and then again 3 minutes and 23 from Jackie to Paula. So a much more closer race on the girls' side, but yeah, Paula just looked in control for the entire day. I don't know what you guys thought about this race.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer to see Jackson Laundry had a mechanical on the bike there. His wireless blip fell off his bike, so he was lacking in gears out there, which I know I called him for the win in there, but I was super excited because he's using the same aero sensor I've been playing with, Ghibli, and actually saw the same results I did with a significant increase in his aerodynamics, dropping the degree of his aero bars. So I was really curious to see how that would play out there. So it was kind of a bummer to hear that he had that happen. And St. George is not a course that you want to be stuck in.
No. If there is one course that you don't want any gear failure, it's probably St. George.
And it happened before the final big climb too. So he was able to kind of manage.
Jesus.
The problem with his blip drop in, he said, was he could shift into an easier gear, but once he did that, he couldn't go back into the bigger gears. So by the time he got to the final climb, he had to go into the smallest gears, and then he couldn't go back up to finish the ride. And so he came down literally just getting as aero as he could without really pedaling at all. So he had nothing to finish, and I think he had a pretty good run because of it, because he had plenty of leg left. And man, he almost had that Sam Lionel finish. Like, Jackson was spent coming down the carpet, and I thought he was going to get that podium spot. But yeah, you wonder what it would have been. I don't think anyone's catching Sam. I mean, Sam ran a 1:10 without anyone close to him. Like, no pressure whatsoever, and he still ran one of the fastest. It was the second fastest of the day. I think one of the other bottom finisher pros ran just a bit better than him. But to run a 1:10 without anyone chasing you and stopping to kiss your wife along the way.
That was so cool. I loved seeing that.
I mean, he just looked like he was having fun. And we keep talking about it. Like, it's hard to beat somebody who's enjoying what they're doing while suffering and smiling at the same time, and just loving everything about it. He wanted to back up the fact that he won last year, and to go sub 2 on that bike course, like, insane.
And you know, it's funny, he's kind of bucking that trend. We've seen a lot of pro males, once they have kids, at least the first couple years after, are a bit rocky, but Sam is just loving life, crushing it everywhere. And it's been, fun to see just the joy he seems to race with. Like, man, he is on a streak. Hopefully, the only thing I wonder is how long can that hold out, right? Like, it is a long season this year. Hopefully he's not burning all his matches early, because it would be fun to see him really contest as we get into the back half of the year.
Just don't see it stopping. It doesn't seem like that engine is anywhere near stopping. He's just starting. So, and Laura's right there with him supporting. So I think that's goes a long way to have them at races, to have that support. As we've seen with Eric and Paula now too. I mean, Paula looked like a different person out there. She was having fun. She got a lead on the bike. She was confident going into that race that she could have a good bike. And she looked happy on that run. And some of those uphills are not easy, but like Fetty said, she looked comfortable. She had a 3-4 minute lead, and it never really changed. They were all running about the same pace. And I think Jackie Herron had the best run of the day, and she looked great. And that was awesome to see her have such a good performance and her kids at the finish line. But Paula and Sam just looked like they were having fun, and you wouldn't know that they were pushing the paces that they were pushing to have such great days. So that's always cool to see. And it always makes me want to work a little harder to try and enjoy it a little bit more. But it was really fun to watch, and it lived up to the hype of the race. The scenery was beautiful. Everything you hear about St. George, it came through loud and clear that day. And it was fun getting up to watch it.
Man, that race is just like absolutely beautiful. I did it one time. So I didn't go quite as fast as I wanted to. I was like 10 weeks pregnant kind of thing. So I had to have a heart rate cap, couldn't push hard. And it was almost harder than other races I'd done because I had to hold back the whole time.
But the temperature was probably like a gazillion with being pregnant. Have you done that race, Josh?
I have not, but definitely some FOMO seeing the amount of Mana teammates that were there having good races, and Kinga crushing it and winning overall in her age group, and just seeing some of our other friends of the pod there. I felt bad for Dubrick. It seems like that St. Anthony's travel and all of that kind of probably got to him. I think he's going to release like how he's feeling, but not the day we expected out of him, but certainly an event that will be on my calendar. I think the next ones for me next year will be to try and do the full, like I did this year. So I did the relay at Western Mass last year. This year I'm doing the whole thing. This year I'm doing the relay at Maine, and next year maybe throw that one on, just another fast downriver and start to really work there, and then add Oregon in. That's the next travel one for me, I think. And let's see what my bike legs and run legs can do when I don't have to struggle on the swim like everyone else gets to enjoy.
Yeah. Definitely some fun racing to watch there. Bede, do we have anything else going on this weekend?
Yeah, we had boom. We had Ironman Port Macquarie, Ironman Australia, and this was a very like a redemption race for Sam Appleton. Very good to see him take the win. We know him for being a 70.3 racer, and he's making the transition towards more of a full distance type of guy. And he hadn't quite nailed the distance, but he actually had a very solid race, and it was a battle. Like, give me an estimate. How many seconds were there apart from the marathon time from Sam and second place Mike Phillips? And this is over a full distance, so 26.2 miles or 42 Ks.
I actually watched the finish line video of this, but I did not see the time, so I don't know. And the guys finished, like, as I caught the YouTube live for the finish line cam, I think the guys had already finished, but I saw their podium ceremony.
Yeah.
My guess is it's probably like 37 seconds or something like that difference.
Yeah, it was wild. 6 seconds from the marathon time from Sam to Mike. So very similar runs from these two. And it was very, very cool to see how tactics work, because Sam is a very good swimmer and runner, and Mike Phillips is known for being like an Uber biker. But Sam has been working a lot on his bike, and just Mike rode 2 minutes faster than Sam. But of course, Sam, with his amazing swim background, he was like four minutes ahead of Mike Phillips. So this goes to show that maybe you could actually, of course, you're not going to win a race on the swim, but how important of being a complete athlete nowadays needs to, all the athletes need to be. There's just no weaknesses anymore. And we had on third place from Australia, Benjamin Hill, clocking a 8:01. He was the first guy on the podium with a sub 8-hour Ironman. And nowadays just seems to be that every Ironman is a sub 8-hour race for the men. So just these guys are flying. They are averaging paces of, a couple of years ago we saw them averaging over a 70.3, and now they're translating that type of speed to the full distance, and it's just impressive and amazing to watch.
It's not just the pros either. The age groupers. Yeah. We saw some age group times in Venice, Italy this weekend that were like almost 20 of them in the under 4-hour range. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. The bar is getting higher, and it's exciting to see where the sport is going to go, because, I mean, a lot of myths are getting debunked about how fast can you go, or, a lot of people thought that, yes, Ironman is this long, slow type of effort, but no, these guys are pushing the envelope very, very far, and it's very good to see. And on the girls' side, we had Reagan Holiaki taking the win in 9:02. Then Radka Califeld from Australia. And on third place, we had Kate Gillespie Jones. All of these girls were, not as close as the men's. like 9 minutes from second place to the first, and 13, almost 14 minutes, uh, third place to second place. So not a super close race, but nonetheless exciting to follow the girls along. And yeah, all these girls, none of them managed to break the 3 hour marathon barrier, but all of them were, 303, 310, 315, which also on the girl side goes to show how impressive the runs are coming along. And like you said, Josh, the the gap between pros and age groupers. I mean, 327, the fastest run on the age group for the girls, and she outran one two pros. So that's just impressive.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of races these days where you're seeing some of those top age groupers hop in and pass a number of the pros. And there's a lot of pros in the field now, and it's really cool to see a lot of these new pros that were age groupers, like you mentioned earlier, start to compete. Like Justin Riel, I mean, has had a
Yeah.
pretty good go at it in a couple races, and again, just recently an age grouper, and you're seeing it in the female side too. So it's really good for the sport to see a lot of these up and comers start to compete with the other pros that we know every day. And it's really going to start to balance things out as the sport grows and more money comes into it.
100%.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of bummed. There was that one year I went in like all in on the Ironman training and stuff, and just like lived and breathed Ironman training before Ironman. And ended up getting 5th overall among the pros. And I was like, oh, if I had a pro license, I would have gotten paid. This crap. The one behind me.
Dang it.
I was like, oh. But it is fun to see those transitions with those incredible women who do start to make it up the pro ranks and then make that jump, because it's not a small leap. Like you go from being in the mix at the front of the race and the age group race and there's people around you and stuff, to even if you're at the back of the pro fields, it's a lonely day because you have the age group starting later, and you're pretty much on your own for the whole race. So that makes a big difference there. Did we have anything else going on this weekend?
No, like Josh mentioned, we had 70.3 in Italy, and then just an Olympic distance Ironman branded in Salinas, Ecuador. But yeah, no more pro races this weekend.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely starting to really get rolling with this Ironman Pro Series. We got some more races happening this weekend on the Ironman and WTCS series. But first, let's jump into our usual segment here. We'll start with Josh. What do you have for social media post of the week?
Well, one of the other races that we like to cover, even though it's not triathlon, is that amazing cycling world, and things are really kicking off with the Giro.
Giro, yep.
So Tade is back at it. If anyone saw his breakaway, he's like, all right, I'm here, and you guys aren't going to have a chance of winning. And it actually led me to follow him a little bit closer this weekend and then this week, and he actually just came out. They just, his team put up a pretty funny reel to the music of Pink Panther, and Tade was decked out in all pink cycling suit. So just a really cool, fun reel. Just to show that lighthearted side of the top in the world that his cycling. Talk about somebody having fun at doing what they do right now. He's right there with Sam Long, enjoying everything he's doing. And man, those guys, when they get into these stage races, it's nuts. It's like we talk about Sam going back to back, and it's crazy what these guys do every day and the amount they ride. And then you start to see some of them that use like their Whoop scores and their Whoop recoveries. 70%, 80% recovery after going 200 miles the day before. How is that possible? But it starts literally as soon as they finish and getting their protein shakes and getting their legs spun out. And but yeah, check out Tade's page. It's on his page. It's on the UAE page. Really funny. Pink Panther.
I saw a great post from Grant Thomas today too. So it's almost like a caption this. It's a picture of Grant giving today a pat on the back essentially, and he says, All right, son, you've had your fun. Let's just have a nice quiet day tomorrow, okay? And Day responded, so we go from the gun? Oh, it's fun to see that they're, just having some fun with it too, especially doing brutal miles like that day after day. It is so incredibly impressive.
And it's got to be a different mindset in this tour race as well, with a lot of those top names that we talked about a few weeks ago being out and injured too. So it changes the dynamics a lot. And we all know Taddy, but it gives some others an opportunity to make their names. And so I think this is going to be a really interesting race.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it goes towards the tour with like half of the favorites knocked out from crashes and stuff. It's definitely going to be a different look. What I hope is it's not just every Grand Tour this year he rides away with all of it, but there's potential. He is just like next level and crazy impressive.
Yeah, he's on another level, and I think this is his year if he wants to win the Giro and the Tour. I mean, if somebody can do it, especially this year with Jonas' injury and Team Jumbo Lisa Bike not being 100% with Wout's injury as well, because Wout was going to be on the Giro.
Yeah.
And then, we saw what happened. And I believe Tadej's strongest rival right now for the Tour is himself and I mean that how hard can he push himself on the Giro? Because he's such an elite athlete that he can win the Giro like at an 80% and then be full on for the Tour. But if he gets his young mindset of attacking from the get go, like you said, the Tour is going to bite him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd be curious if Jonas isn't in the Tour and Wout is feeling healthy again. It would be so much fun for Jumbo Lisa Bike just to like let him off the leash and just say, go take as many stage wins as you can and have fun with it. That would make things interesting.
Yeah, I would do that 100%. And also, we have to see how well Primoz Roglic adapts to his new team. And, because out of all the cyclists that fell that day, with Primoz and Jonas and a few others, Remco Evenepoel, he is the one that suffered the least, injuries, and maybe this is Primos's year, and because he's not at the Giro, so he's saving himself for the Tour, and maybe this is his year. But we have to wait and see.
All we want to see is lots of battles to keep it interesting and keep us on the edge of our seat there. So it's going to be fun to follow that and the rest of the Giro here. Let's go into, so I've got for what the F of the week is actually the San Francisco T100 start list for the women. Taylor Knibb is racing.
Of course she is.
Not something you would expect to see with the Olympics coming not too long after that. Now, she's the type of athlete where she's definitely strong enough and fit enough to go out there, get the job done against most fields, but we're also going to have Ashley Gentle in there. So it's not going to be a case of some of the other races she's done recently, like Oceanside, where she can potentially bike off the front and run away with it, because Ashley Gentle will keep the pressure on. So what do you guys think? Are you surprised she's on this start list? Are you surprised she's not focusing entirely on the Olympics, or is she just going out for a solid training day?
I think it's a solid training day for her. And like I said, with Tadej, Taylor is the type of athlete who, at her 80%, she's going to beat 95% of the girls out there. No disrespect, but I think Taylor right now is at a different level than the rest of the girls. And I think the only one who could actually give Taylor a run for her money right now at that specific distance is Ashley Gentle. So I don't think we're going to see a very dominant race from Taylor. I might be wrong and eat my words, but I think we're going to see a battle between her and Ashley.
Yeah, but does it have to, because Taylor's a competitor too, what if her and Ashley are neck and neck? Is she going to battle it out to the finish and kind of take longer to recover from that? What do you think, Josh? Or is she going to just use it as training day?
I think there's enough time in between San Francisco and when she's got to get going for the Olympics that she would absolutely, like you said, she's a competitor. You can't put it, you're not going to get in a race like that just to show up. Now, she might be treating it as a training ride, and that means like 10 watts or 20 watts lower on the bike. But I think the other reason she's doing this race potentially is for the technicality of it too. So it's not your typical 70.3 course or T100 course where it's just out and back and out and back and out and back. And you've got some climbing to do in San Francisco and work on your bike handling. And in Paris, there's a lot of tight turns. And she's done that course, obviously, at the test event last year. But I think it's to work on some of that bike handling and climbing and descending and in a short period of time. Obviously, it's not Nice, but I think it's something that she's put on her calendar for that reason. And then just to get those competitive juices going again, because from April to the Olympics is a long time. And she doesn't need to qualify for the Olympics like everyone else has to do in Yokohama. So she doesn't have to worry about that. And now this is her race to get those last things worked out at race days.
Yeah. No, whatever happens there, it's definitely going to be an interesting race to see how it all shakes out. And you know what? You also got a healthy, well, actually, didn't know if I saw in there Paula Findlay is going to be in there.
Paula was on there. Chelsea was on there.
Yeah. So I'll tell you who we've got here. We've got Ashley Gentle, India Lee, Lucy Byram, Paula Findlay, Amelia Watkinson, Daniela Reef, Sky Munch, Imogen Simmons, Tamara Jewett, Emma Pallant-Brown, Kat Matthews, Chelsea Sodaro, Marjolaine Pierre, Haug, Taylor Knibb, and Laura Phillip. So
wow.
How will and how go in here too, right? Haven't seen a ton from her lately, just in her dominant runs. So I'll be curious to see how she goes, and hopefully she doesn't have the spare tube get dislodged this time. But
I think we'll probably have at least one alternate already, because I think Daniela's announced that she's battling an injury too. So I think that's going to change her season in the T100 if you have to take San Francisco out. So we'll have one wild card there. And speaking of wild cards, we lost a wild card on the men's side too, with Yuri going full-time T100 now. So,
I think that was such a good call by the T100. People say yes, no, or otherwise kind of thing, but he is showing that he is showing up, putting in the work, and actually competing. You can't have the top-ranked athlete just not
wild card.
Yeah.
You got to wait until somebody drops this week.
Man, could you imagine?
Yeah, that was a very good move by the T100, inviting Yuri to be part of the series, because it just shows respect for the guy and then gives credibility to the T100 series, that they care about performance, and he proved himself with the wild card, but now he has earned his spot in being a regular on the series.
Now, my question is, are they going to offer another contract or like permanent wild card now that we have Holly Lawrence's out of the T100 with her announcement of her being pregnant in there? Obviously, she had a T100 contract, which she's obviously not going to do. So are they going to keep circling in wild cards, or do you think they should actually give a contract to someone like, say, a Lucy Byram who showed up and made an impact? Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I think they'll probably keep it as is now, as long as they can fill San Francisco, because then after San Francisco, we're talking post-Olympics, and we're starting to get into more athletes coming back into play. Now, Taylor's showing up anyway, so we know she'll be in play after the Olympics. It'll be interesting to see. I think it's going to take a wild card stepping up and winning a race like Yuri did before you start to see another contract offered officially. I just don't see that happening. Yuri pushed their hand. I mean, he literally forced them to give him a contract.
There was no choice there. Well, we're certainly not lacking in racing these days, and it'll be really fun to see how these series kind of all shake out. pretty interesting. Listen to Joe Skipper's podcast today and how he kind of got sick during Texas and stuff. He's starting to question if Ironman Cairns doesn't go well, then maybe he kind of dips out of the Ironman Pro Series and chases other goals in there too. But it's definitely making athletes have to, chase these rankings, race more, be up against each other more, and that makes it fun to watch. But I hope as the season goes on and everyone gets into form, we get some closer battles, because there have been a lot of domination races lately, and they're not quite as much fun to watch from a purely age group or spectator perspective.
We were hoping for some fun and fireworks at St. George, but man, that was put the rest early on that on the bike.
Well, somewhere we probably will see some fireworks is we are starting to get some Olympic action going with the WTCS series. We have Abu Dhabi happening this weekend on March 8th and 9th. And this is going to be kind of the last shot for a lot of athletes just to really get their Olympic rankings points. Or sorry, May 11th in Yokohama. I am looking way back there. It's the last shot for a lot of athletes to get those Olympic ranking points and get their qualifications before it all goes to discretionary choosing, which is how a lot of people won't want to get their spot or not, because things get a little political at that point. But we definitely have a few names on here to watch out for. And actually, I think the biggest race and what a lot of us will be watching is the elite women's on the US start list. There has been some serious battles going on here between, Gwen Jorgensen, Katie Zafiris as they battle it out. And interestingly, USA swapped out Gwen Jorgensen for Katie Zafiris in Cagliari, even though Gwen had kind of earned her spot there. So there's a little bit of drama in the US.
Is that so?
Yeah, they swapped. She wanted to be on that start list and earned the ranking for it, but they swapped out Katie. So.
I think I made a comment on one of that post, and it's got like 500 likes. So,
really?
I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, that was definitely controversial. She is on the Yokohama list, obviously. I mean, she's won that race how many times? But yeah, it's heating up. You've got 4 or 5 girls going for the final spot plus the discretionary third spot, and if in a Yokohama, if you finish in the top 3 of the podium and you're a US woman, you automatically get in. So
so on the US side, we've got Gwen Jorgensen, Kirsten Casper, Summer Rappaport, Taylor Spivey, and Taylor Knibb. So Knibb is going to be all over the race course this week. But the other interesting part is we are also going to have Flora Duffy returning. It has been 500 days since she's raced. That is mind-boggling. She was dominating the series for so long. So it'll be interesting to see how she comes back from that, because the racing landscape has changed significantly. We've seen the French women really making their showing with Leonie Pirro and Emma Lombardi, and we've got GBR, of course, always has a strong field, and the Germans are absolutely crushing it with Laura Lindemann and Lisa Tersch. So I'll be curious to see how she comes back after not racing for so long. Will she be back to her dominating ways and she's ready, or will it be a little bit of a different race? How much have things changed from her perspective? What do you guys think there?
That's a good point. A lot has changed. I mean, we saw it with Gwen. I mean, it took her a long time to get back to where she has earned her right to compete again, and she battled hard for that. So I can't imagine Flora's going to jump right back in with everything that's already changed. But we all know she's a heck of a triathlete, and if anyone can do it, she can. So it's going to be some really cool racing leading into these final slots for Paris. And I believe on the men's side, we actually get to see Mr. Blumenfeld finally race.
We do.
Yeah, finally.
That's great. It'd be great to see how he jumps back into the racing there. We've got on the Norwegian side, Kasper Stornes, Christian Blumenfeld, and Thorn Brugsvik racing in there. So it'll be curious to see how they go at it. For the rest of the field, we got people like Jacob Birkwhistle, Maddie Hauser, Jelle Geens, Martin Van Riel. I'm curious to see how he goes. It looks like training and racing, everything has been going very, good for him. So I'm curious to see what he does there. Tyler Mislechuk, of course, got to give the Canadian a shout out, and he did so well at the Testament a while ago. But for the last Olympics, we got Dorian Connex, Leo Berger for France. Vincent Louis is going to be there, so be curious to see if he is back 100% and battling it out, because again, the timing for him was brutal. He was so dominant for years.
Yeah.
And then just the last couple of years been plagued with injury. We got Jonathan Brownlee will be back there. We haven't seen him. Top form. It'd be fun to see him maybe pull out a fourth medal. He's already the most winningest triathlete. Can he do something this year? Got like Jonas Schomburg. Yeah, this definitely is stacked. It's going to be interesting because it's like the race, obviously, but then the race within the race in the federations, trying to get those last spots and really
Right.
together picks.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle for all countries fighting for slots for the Olympics. And like I said a couple of episodes before, like I don't want to be the guy making the call, especially in the US women's side, because it's gonna be quite a battle and a very impressive show of performances. I think we're gonna see now from the girls, because they are fighting for those spots that are remaining. And it's gonna be exciting. Always these some of the years tricky with travel, racing, injuries, and all of that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see some closer racing. This one, there's definitely going to be some close head-to-head racing.
Oh, yeah.
As mediocre as the coverage is of these events, at least a few within close contact.
The beauty of the Olympic distance too.
Mm-hmm.
They do know how to make the live stream a bit boring. Those guys, huh? Jesus.
Yeah. Interesting. No Alex Yee on here. Curious to see.
He just beat Hayden this weekend too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did he?
Yeah, there was like a big team race that they did, but also with the individual side, and I think Alex beat Hayden out. Hayden had another issue with the bike or something, but you just can't have a clean race. Like it took like the end of Super League where he finally got some clean races, but man, it seems like every race something goes wrong.
We need to get a bike mechanic to travel full time with Hayden Wild.
Keep him going there.
It's just such a shame, because he's a very good athlete, and the bike breaks or the bike something happened, flats here and there. So he needs to pray to the bike gods that his mechanical lock is in order.
Yeah, definitely. Well, switching up into some longer distance stuff, we also have Ironman 70.3 Mallorca going on this weekend. And interestingly here, we have the return of Gustav Eden. So I think that's the final nail in the Olympics coffin if he's this race instead of heading over it that way. But he's just so much better at the longer distance stuff and so dominant. But for you guys an idea, we've got on the start list Jan Stratman, Gustav Eden, Patrick Lange, Antonio Benito Lopez, Nicholas Mann, Mateus Margier, Yuri Kulin will be out there, Bradley Weiss, Andy Dreitz, Michael Weiss. Kevin Worth will be out there too. So
of course.
We got Michael Raylor. That's a bit of a throwback there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got a few names racing here. It could be interesting. And even Patrick Lange, that's going to be a short turnaround for him. I think he doesn't usually race a ton, but going Texas to Mallorca, long to short, is always a bit more painful. So I'll be curious to see how he pulls up after 334 or 234, 235 marathon a couple weeks ago. But what do you guys think?
Danielle Lewis did it on back-to-back weeks, which was super impressive at St. George.
That had to be painful.
Unbelievable.
Oh, craziness.
I was going to say that we're starting to see a different Patrick Lange, huh? Because he was never the guy who raced a lot, And now, like you said, Jenna, coming from Texas, and before that he was at Oceanside, and now this, like maybe he's taking a different approach towards what he's been doing in the past few years. But yeah, it's exciting to see him race. The thing with Patrick, like Jan always said, there's year-round Patrick, and then there's Kona Patrick. So
Yeah.
we can never count him out Kona time, but maybe he just wants to test a few things. But we know for a fact that the Patrick we see now is going to be a completely different Patrick than what we see in October.
And, I think the Ironman Pro Series is doing what they're trying to do. They're forcing him to race more just because there is so much money and prestige on the line there. Usually he'd just hold it because Kona is going to pay a lot better from sponsors and the prize money and stuff if he does well there. Well, now there's some other opportunities on the line, so it's great to see me out there and actually mixing it up.
Yeah, that's quite the start list.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to be an easy one to pick.
Oh no!
Yeah, definitely. So, speaking of which, I'm gonna make you guys pick.
Cool.
I'll go in there. Hey, since you missed out last weekend, you can pick first in here. Who do you think?
Awesome.
Since you clearly picked Tomas a couple weeks ago without it being here.
Man.
Yeah, obviously. That was very good to see. And, yeah, it was very cool to watch. And the first Ironman victory by a Mexican was just awesome. And the way he ran, amazing.
A lot of people were saying no one would ever pick him, and I'm like, no, we got who picked him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know he's been going well. Like he's one of those guys he's a train horse. Like I would compare him to what Sam Long used to do back in the day. Just being bored and then getting out of the door and riding for 7 hours. He's that type of guy. He just loves training and he loves racing. He gets a bit of a hard time because he's very blunt and honest, and he doesn't smile a lot. So people often think he's angry, but he's actually a very dedicated athlete. So I was very happy for Tomas, and can't wait to see what him and Patrick can do in Kona.
Yeah, that'll be good to see. But
Yeah,
back to the America side of things, who do you think is going to take it this weekend without like an insane run split?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut feeling, and I saw him posting a few stories that he was on the race venue a few weeks earlier preparing, and I think this is Gustav Eden's redemption race. I think we're going to see a Gustav we were used to. Not 100%, but I think we're going to see him win in his old fashion.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. It'd be so good to see. He was definitely, when he's on, he's just so on, and he's so good at this distance, and it's been, hard last while for him, so it'd be very cool to see him at the finish line in first. How about you, Josh?
He's got to be excited to get out there. No, Jenny, you go next. I got the male winner this past weekend, so you can.
I get to make the call here? Okay. See, I'm torn with this one. We had very cool and just put on a masterclass at the T100, but again, that's not 70.3. Patrick Langa is such a fast runner, but 70.3 is not really his strong suit.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to go with experience here. I think if I can't choose Gustafin, then I'll go Patrick Langa. Well, no, okay, no. Yuri Coolin. Changing my mind. Go for the fastest.
Guess who I was going to pick?
Never guess.
Not Yuri Coolin, that's for sure.
Speaking of social media posts of the week, did you see his post about him not having any clue how to grab bottles?
Yeah, I saw that one. That was like...
Man, why did the T100 do that? Like, you had that one, rock star volunteer who was running with them, hitting the bottles, making sure they get them, and now they're saying that the volunteers can't run at all. And
can't do it. Yeah.
Especially if it's just pro racing. I can see if it's age groupers and you have tons of people going through all the time, but if it's just the pros racing, why not let them? And it's almost even worse because they're like holding the bottles from the bottom and you're coming in at speed and they're just toppling. You need to hold them from the top and kind of dangle them. So at least there's a little give if they're flying by. But
it's not easy to do at those speeds. I mean,
they
if
need the
you're
guy
an
from
age
Miami.
grouper and done it, you typically really slow down or stop some of them. I mean,
Yeah.
to try and do it at any speed over 10, 15 miles an hour is not easy.
Yeah.
They should hire that guy from T100 in Miami and just get him to do all the T100 races and run alongside us. That guy was a rock star.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I can't go with Yuri and I can't go with Gustav, I don't think Patrick's in this one to get after it. I think he's in it for the points and stay close into race in Europe and get that whole field back. I'm going to go with Matisse. And I think
That's
he's
a good
had
call.
quite a good build again coming into this one. So let's go with Marger.
That is a great pick, Josh. I like it.
Okay, we roll on to the women's side of things. Some of the top names in there, we got Emma Pallant-Brown, Laura Philipp, Georgia Perrione, Daniela Kleiser, Lizzie Rayner, Ruth Astle, Elisabetta Gredori, Heini. Okay, there are some seriously tough names here. Hartikainen? There's Spanish, I know that one. Yes, we definitely have some. Yeah, a few top women here. We're going for that 70 or that Ironman Pro rankings. We'll start again with you, Fede. Who do you think has it on the women's side for Mallorca?
Did you mention Emma Pallant-Brown?
She's ranked
just across the board on this one.
Okay, here's the thing. I would have said Emma, but we know she has been struggling lately with heat. So I'm not gonna pick Emma. But could you repeat me just a couple of those names, Jenna?
Emma Pallant-Brown, Laura Philipp, Georgia Perrione, Daniela Kleiser,
Okay.
Lizzie Rayner, Ruth Astle.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Laura Philipp.
That is a solid pick. That's who I was going to go with initially in there. She just, when she's on, she's on. She's so good. Like, you definitely expect to see her up there.
Yeah, and it seems like there's Europe Laura Philipp and North America Laura Philipp. I think she races way better in Europe, so I think she's taking the win.
Yeah, with this one, well, then I got to go Emma Pallant-Brown because it's going to be one of those two, I think, or someone we've never heard of before. I don't think there's...
Naturally.
Yeah.
I'll go with Georgia Perone.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. If Emma Pallant-Brown can keep the heat under control, hopefully she's good. Because that's one of the tough things. Like when you have those heat issues to that extent, it just compounds. Your body's kind of scarred by it a little bit. So hopefully that's not the case. And she's going in feeling healthy and ready to fire and have a great day out there. But yeah, between the top three, we will see who gets it done this weekend. Definitely be watching that one. Now, should I make us do the picks for WTCS? Because that is going to be a whole lot harder to pick it. I think we got it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll head back to the women's of WTCS in Yokohama. Who do we think we will do? How about we do reverse order in here? We'll start with Josh. Who do you think on the women's side is going to take it here in Yokohama?
I'm going to go with Gwen. And I think she's pissed off. She's pissed off. She wasn't picked or dropped from Cagliari. And we saw that loud and clear with a lot of people. So this is her last shot. And I think she's going to come at it. I know she could even finish third and still grab her spot or whatever, but I'm going to go for her all the way to the top, and she loves this course.
Get it done. Wow. That is a big call. I like it. You know what? I'm going to go with Leona Perio. she's just been like running so well and so solid lately. I think we're going to see even more from the French women. Like going into an Olympics in your home country, that's got to give you a big boost of just energy and excitement and confidence and stuff. Maybe do something like what the Brownlees did in London. And just kind of showcasing that fitness as we head towards the games. But what do you think, Fede? Who's going to take it in the women's side?
Oh, that is a let me think, because I was gonna say Gwen, but
Wow,
now
we're in there.
okay. I'm gonna go Beth Potter.
Okay. Is she?
Yeah. I
Don't know
think
if
she's
she's
on the start
racing.
list.
I don't see her on this start list.
Okay,
But
if Beth if
Just pick another
If-
American. I mean, come on. They're all trying to kill each other right now.
I'm trying to be neutral now. Okay, I'm gonna go Lisa Turch.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I think she's solid, and yeah, she's obviously not an underdog, but all the eyes are gonna be in Gwen and those dynamics, and I think she's a very smart racer, and she could actually use that to her advantage.
Mm-hmm. Amazingly, no one picking Flora Duffy because we have no idea. And a couple years ago, that would have been absolutely insane not to pick Flora Duffy. So I'm super curious to see how she comes out back onto the race course here. Well, we'll go into the men's before we wrap things up here. Again, this is definitely going to be an interesting race. We're missing Hayden Wild and Alex Yee, who would usually be battling it out at the front. But who do you think is going to take it here, Josh?
I mean, similar to what Fede was thinking with Gustav, I think Christian is itching to race, and he's itching to show people all of that elevation training and really just kind of lay down that first stake in his claim to the Olympic title. So he's going to take the whole thing.
Just get it done. It'd be very fun to see in there. Okay. Man, it's definitely tough here, especially like with the last race being canceled and stuff. We really don't have a good form guide of who's going in. But you know, I'm going to go for a French double and go Leo Berger. Seems to be doing really well in there. Again, another shout out Martin Van Riel. I think he could be an interesting one to watch too. But yeah. Let's go for French double here. How about you, Fede? Who do you have?
Right. So we know for a fact that Abu Dhabi is usually a very flat course, and it's usually a run race. Like my heart wants to pick Martin Van Riel, but I'm gonna stick with another Belgian and go Jelle Gins for the win.
Yeah, he's got a killer run on him too. Man, it'll be good. And again, no one's going with Johnny Brownlee here. He hasn't quite been showing the form the last few years, but that would be fun to see him kind of pulling through the field and see the.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome to see. Yeah. Imagine if Johnny manages to win the gold, then he'll have
unbelievable.
Then he'll have the whole set, and he'll have more medals than his brother. Of course, his brother has 2 golds, but he's gonna have the complete set.
Well, he's got the whole set in terms of if you count the relay, right?
Yeah, so that's true. This is true.
He doesn't have the individual set.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, curious to see how Vincent Louis goes. Again, one of those athletes where a couple years ago, if you bet against him.
Hey, yeah, he's one of those athletes. I don't know if this seems to you as well as it does to me, but he seems to me one of those athletes who actually the pandemic was in detriment towards his career than other athletes who benefited from it, like Christian Blumenfeld and Gustav Iden. I think for him, the pandemic was a bit of a setback.
Yeah, absolutely. He just went through a string of injuries and kind of went backwards there, which, yeah, it's crazy that we're talking about some of these athletes like Katie Zafiris and Vincent Louis, who are just so dominant. If the Olympics were a couple years earlier, they'd be the top picks across the board because they're just crushing it across, Super League and WTCS. But it's amazing how much things can change just in a couple of years. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, guys, if there's nothing else tonight, I think we'll wrap it up there. We've got some racing to watch this weekend that we're excited to look forward to, and let us know kind of your picks going into this weekend, because I'd be curious to see if you think we're on the mark crazy or anything else in between. Give us a follow on Instagram at Another Triathlon Podcast, and yeah, tell us what you think.
Pretty awesome. Getting closer to that 50th episode. So if you want to join us for number 50 and you got a big name, we've reached out to you, but now it's your turn to reach out to us too. So we're trying to secure the 50th episode guest, and we've got a few in mind.
Countdown is on. That's still mind-boggling at this point. Awesome. As always, thank you so much, guys, and we will be back next week.
Awesome.
Have a good one.
You too, guys.